Metaphysics is going to have to be the quote-unquote religion of tomorrow. If it isn't, you're fucked. Totally and absolutely.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we live. We live. And we got some folks to put on the grill tonight. We got some born insecure rat soup eating motherfuckers to address.
How dare he?
That's words straight from our deity himself. I didn't make those words up. That's from our deity. So if you're not ready to address the words of the Abrahamic God or Allah himself, don't address the words of the mighty Dolomite. Say he's born insecure rat soup eating motherfuckers. We gotta call it what it is. We can't be out here fronting, man. That's what separates us from everybody else. There will be no quarter for the beast, no shelter in the storm. So this day started off, and well, before we get into it, let's just do this properly. I'm sure you brothers are having an eventful and abundant week so far. Am I correct?
I want to forgo my declaring of the week. Just to once again thank AIU for coming on our podcast. I have to say that man is a complete gentleman, a class act. And if you're not subscribed to Censor TV, you should subscribe to Censor TV. You should definitely support free speech and sign up with the promo code AIU.
Definitely. I am in total and complete agreement. It was a great conversation. And the more I've been watching him, you know, because like I said, I've been kind of out of the loop. I didn't know he had rebranded or if he was back on social media. So now that I know, and I've been watching, I think the YouTube page now is The Pouch or something like that. And I've been watching and I've been listening. And he definitely has an extremely refined way to get under the skin of people who aren't listening closely enough. If you really listen and you really watch it and you see what's going on, but if you just like casually listen to what he's saying, you're probably gonna get some knee-jerk reactions. He's gonna piss you off. He's calling black folks blanks. He's like,
no, bleeps.
Yeah, bleeps. They added another bleep. Another bleep here, and then so is it a bleep? Or are you gonna assume what he wants to put behind the bleep? It's like it's a lot going on there. He's super clever. I like the guy. I have to say. But yeah, man, it's been good today. I have to say that Black Twitter in general is an amazing place. Well, Twitter overall is an amazing place, but Black Twitter specifically, very interesting. The shit that people say, the shit that they do there, the ideologies that they promote, the stuff they get away with. It's a very unique place. It's like going to Oz, bro. You step into Black Twitter, it's a whole nother world in there. Whole nother world. And we had some interesting interactions today, especially the brother Yakub K-Venestein. I'll let you lay this red carpet out for everybody so we can get into I see the title is very likely triggering some people. You know, stop snitching, the failings of racial tribalism. Yep, we said it. So yeah, get into that. Let the people know what's going on Black Twitter.
Look, fuck Mash Teray as an influencer and as a record label. And if you want to be down with Mash Teray, fuck you too. Chino XL, fuck you too.
Get him.
Listen, I like Mash Teray. I have so many things that I can agree with this dude on. I've seen him on Tucker a few times, and I gotta say, I suspect that that's probably some of the influence over why he has to manage his brand the way that he does. You're already a quarter inch from being disavowed of blackness the moment you go on Tucker Carlson. So I respect that he's walking a very, very thin line. And the only thing I can suspect is he either, one, really believes this shit, right? And he's just a sincere believer in this ideology, or he doesn't want the potential damage to his brand by saying something as sensical as the community should put away its criminals. The community should put away its criminals, shouldn't feel any kind of honor, any kind of allegiance, okay? And he's got this movement, Black Guns Matter. Look, and I'll say it on the record, black guns do not matter. And black lives do not matter for that matter. Neither do white lives.
Right.
Not compared to one another. Let me tell you, it's a big empty universe. Nobody really matters unless we make them matter. And if you give me the choice between who matters, if you give me two kids in the hood that got fucked up parental situations, everybody around them that's getting money and having a good time is in rampant criminality, and they have to navigate the pressures of being in that environment. And one kid says, you know what, I'm with this shit, let me just put a couple of stray bullets in the crowd. And the other one is like, I'm gonna do the best I can to get the fuck out of here, make some money, and maybe come back and open a business. And you're telling me if that stray bullet hits that kid that's trying to do good, that his life matters as much as the dude that shot him? No, fuck that dude's life. That dude that's trying to do the right thing, his life matters way more than the motherfucker who is making the hood a war zone, that's making it uninhabitable, that's making it a place. Google child shot in stroller. It's not even a one incident story. You can find multiple articles about babies being murdered by stray bullets in fucking strollers. Google shot cashier. Google shot in drive-through. You don't get one story. You get multiple stories in multiple cities. And if you ask me whether the sexy-ass Puerto Rican girl working at Burger King on the overnight shift, if you ask me if her life is more valuable than the piece of shit that shot her for no reason, abso-fucking-lutely. So I can't for the life of me figure out why someone who understands the ills of the hood, completely understands that black people in the hood should be legally armed for their own self-defense, has made a movement out of it. I can't understand for the life of me why somebody who is that familiar with the shit that we're talking about would take the position publicly that snitching is bad.
Maybe he's Lex Luthering it.
What do you mean?
He's telling black people to get guns, but he's telling all the black people to get guns so they can shoot and kill themselves.
Each other.
Well,
Yeah, each other.
But then black guns, black lives, like I thought, one of the other things I thought was maybe we only need protection from white cops. Maybe, getting killed by another black person is just part and parcel for the Negro experience in America. Maybe he's accepted that. Maybe he's accepted that criminality is actually part of who we are and how we move on the planet. Maybe he's just totally accepted it. So stop snitching. This is who we are. It's part of our identity, just like cornrows and hoop earrings and shit like that. Maybe this is all part of it.
Don't tell. Keep letting crime go on. Keep letting innocent kids get shot. Keep letting the guy that's been in the neighborhood for 10 years and has to sell it to the Arab who doesn't give a fuck about you and wants you to sell drugs and continue to do more drugs as long as you're buying from his store.
Listen, it's a lot of ways you can go with this, but I got the tweets up right now, right? So it started with him saying, "Welp, Gunna is a rat." Okay, so you got a bunch of comments, a bunch of likes, a bunch of retweets. So Gunna's a rat.
Oh,
So-
by the way, is he certified street nigga?
Ooh.
That's interesting.
That I don't know. He
No.
carries
There's
himself.
rules to this no snitching.
Nah, he's a
thing
hotep.
now.
He's a hotep. He's got.
So
this
if you're a
deranged-
host, so he can't
But there's-
call nobody.
but-
he
but
can't
there's-
call nobody
there's-
a rat. He
but
can't
there-
call nobody a rat.
But there's overlap though. There's Hotep street dude overlap for sure.
Okay.
He carries himself like a dude that grew up around shit, knows what time it is, knows what signs to look for to keep himself. Like he's a dude that seems like he's aware and has been around shit. If you told me he grew up in a privileged existence, I would be shocked. I would be shocked. So I think there's some legitimacy to him and to his movement and the things that he's saying. And I just want to be clear too. I'm talking about Maj Toure as the Twitter avatar.
Right.
As the human being, I love Maj Toure. As the human being that's trying to make a living and navigate this existence we've all been thrust into, I don't have no problem. And plus, I don't want no smoke with the dude. He obviously knows some goons. Okay, he says he lifts weights. He looks kind of big. I mean, he's got a really nice complexion. I mean, I would definitely let him be in the candidacy for being my wife's boyfriend. He's a very comely looking gentleman. Very comely.
I got him up
But
on the screen. He's wearing a T-shirt that says
He's
"Being a
cuckable.
bitch, being
He's
a bitch
cuckable.
is un-American."
Yeah, so I mean, so he's in this lane. There's a lack of conservative. He's a libertarian, but there's a lack of black voices that have his swag.
Right.
There just isn't. So he's in a lane. We've already established this. There's a fascination within the black community with European penises, just European penis worship. You guys invented guns. We love them. We can't get enough of them. They're going to be in the video. So he's got a lane where he's kind of a part of that street fascination in the topics that he's chosen to take up for on the right side of the political aisle, right? Like his big thing is like, yeah, I'm all about guns. So there's an empty void for his kind of voice, and he made his lane, and apparently he's asking for 100 people to donate $25 every day. Now I'm not a mathematician. I think that's 2,500. Is it not?
Yeah.
So he wants 2,500 in donations to help fuel his enterprise, which is to teach people how to use guns legally in the hood, because the hood is a violent place.
Sounds like
Could
Lex
there-
Luthor shit, but I hear you.
And
Could
that's
there
a problem,
poss-
right? The
Well-
hood being violent is violent criminals in the hood is a
So we're
problem.
gonna teach them how to shoot guns.
Well,
Right.
right, but we all agree that it's a violent problem. But is there now a financial incentive blocking the clarity of your thinking? Do you want the hood to remain dangerous so you can keep giving concealed carry classes? Why would you not want the hood to be safer by locking away baby killers? Dudes that are murking babies in fucking strollers. Fuck these dudes. Fuck these dudes. Snitch all day. Fuck these rules. Like we're fucking secret society preserving scientific secrets because society's not ready for it. Like we're the Underground Railroad hiding meeting places. Like we're sworn to secrecy for a good cause. We're sworn to secrecy to protect murderers and drug dealers. There's some sort of honor in that? No. Where the fuck is the notion of there being honor, any degree of honor in that shit? And the fact is, if you're on the inside, if you're not a civilian, right? If you're on the inside, guess what? Your testimony carries way more weight. You got way more of the details. You're a civilian. You just saw the shit. You weren't at the meeting. You weren't at the planning where it was conspired. You don't have those details to make sure that motherfucker goes away. So if somebody wants to turn state evidence to put fucking murderers and urban terrorists that are making the community unlivable for all the people trying to do shit, make it fit for investment, who the fuck is... If you give me the choice between Nipsey Hussle and Eric Holder, I'm taking Nipsey all day.
All day.
The dude that's bringing money to the hood and creating jobs. But guess what? You can't invest in the hood. You can't bring any economic opportunities to it if there's no stability. It's just like countries that don't... You think anybody's starting a business in Somalia? It's a failed state. You might want to help those people. You might want to bring jobs there, but there's no infrastructure or stability that you could reasonably run a profitable business there. And it's the same thing when you talk about pockets of America that are absolutely the hood, where there's this fucking honor code to not tell on the people doing the most violent and destructive shit.
Right.
It's just indefensible. If you give a fuck about the hood, yes, educate them, arm them to protect themselves, but if you got an opportunity to make it less violent by getting motherfuckers off the street who need to be taken off of here, you should jump at the chance. And you, as a prominent person on Twitter, shouldn't be defending this notion of snitching is bad.
Right.
We're betraying something.
See, this is the cognitive dissonance, right? This is that I talk about this a lot, and it's something that's confused me for a long time since I was a teenager. I've never really understood why black folks try to occupy these two spaces. So I've never seen a white doctor be in some kind of confrontation and say, "Oh, don't make me get fucking colonizer cave beasts on your ass." I've never seen it. I've never seen them try to prove that they can be something other than what they're representing themselves as in the moment, because they think that makes them more white or more official. I have seen Negroes of all places in life, all walks of life, for some reason it's respected to be like, "Oh, I can still get niggerish. Oh, don't make me bring the nigger out." It's like, why is there a nigga in there in the first place? What are you talking about? Like, isn't it good enough for you to be what you are? That's the cognitive dissonance of this shit. You can be chill, but you still have to be able to identify with the undercover thuggery, the criminality of black. I don't understand why this criminality and blackness are synonymous to people. And you can't say you don't think it's synonymous. You being what you are, the way you've aligned yourself online as an influencer for people getting gun licenses legally and protecting the community, and you call yourself a libertarian, what stake do you have in protecting criminals who tell on each other? I don't understand that at all. I'm completely confused. So like I said, he said, well, gun is a rat. Mr. Caveman Einstein comes in and says, as he should be, save the black children. Start snitching. Hashtag start snitching, which I want to say personally is the best hashtag I've ever seen on Twitter. Start snitching. That's absolutely beautiful. And he says, or don't. First of all, why do you have a reply to save save black children? How do you I still got something else to say.
He's a Yakub Cavemanstein, so he can't talk about saving the black kids.
Yeah, that's right. We can't take that from you. We can't allow that from you.
No, sir. We're here to continue the genocide.
Right.
You can't talk about saving our kids. What are you talking about?
So he says, or don't involve yourself in the activities you can't stand on in the first place. So it seems like we have some type of respect for people who can commit the crime and then stand on it and still do the time without telling on anybody else. Again, I don't understand why you have any stock in criminals protecting other criminals. If you want to make your neighborhood safer, so okay, just look at this mathematically, right? Just as a mathematical equation. You have 10 gang members who are all committing crimes with each other. They're murdering, they're selling drugs, they're just terrorizing the community, right? So all of them get trapped up in a RICO case. If none of them snitch on each other, how many people you're going to have go to jail? You never know how it's going to work. If one person snitches on the other ones, you have 9 people going to jail and one guy who either gets a lighter sentence or doesn't go to jail at all. So you got one criminal back on the street. If that doesn't go that way, you might have 1 or 2 people who take the charges for the other 8 or 9. Now you got 8 or 9 criminals back in the street, active, terrorizing the community, and only 1 or 2 people actually going to jail to take all the charges. How does that benefit the person who has set up their platform as protecting the black community?
I just want to know the pros and cons, because we have the data. It's 12/15/2022. So we have the statistics of the no snitching rule. It's been around for a while. I just want to know the pros and cons of how is it doing right now currently. Like, how's it working out for us?
Yeah,
like what's like what are we talking about right now?
No, about stop snitching, right?
Right.
So
what have we gained? What have we gained? What has been improved by sticking to this honor code of not telling on the people who are the absolute worst representations of humanity?
That's a dishonor code.
Yeah.
That's not even an honor code. Like, let's stand on having no integrity. Let's double down on having no integrity, and and you as a quote, he basically, as far as criminality, when it comes to that, you're a civilian. You're a person who's not supposedly involved in gang activity, any illegal shit. Like, not are libertarians gang? Are they like Crip and Blood libertarians?
I don't know.
First of all, libertarianism is stupid. I'm just gonna say it. Libertarianism, and I don't mean any disrespect to our brothers at Doesn't Fit the Narrative. For our libertarian friend, I love them deeply. Libertarianism is a North Star to guide your decision making, but it is in no way a practical approach. Human beings aren't ready for the libertarianism that you're espousing. You know what happens when you let everyone do whatever the fuck they want with no accountability? It's the hood. And you're teaching people how to defend themselves in it because it doesn't turn out well. Human beings haven't made that upgrade yet. They just haven't. It works for people who have their shit together and they don't understand that they share the earth with people who don't have their shit together. And whether we want to acknowledge it or not, when the people who don't have their shit together run out of resources, they're coming after the people who do have their shit together.
Right.
To just say everybody, like, we can't pretend that our destiny as humans isn't interconnected in a deep way. Like, we can go and start our compound, we can have freedom, you can live your life by libertarian philosophies, but when you talk about how nations are going to interact, how resources are going to be meted out, how you're going to solve problems, yes, what we have is absolutely corrupt. But if you take those fetters off humanity, I think you're way overestimating the condition that most people are in, to think that they're just going to take to it like a duck to water. Fuck no. Fuck no. It's going to be bad. So right out of the gate, like, this is just not, this is not an ideology that you could defend that's doing anything good in the community that you say that you're serving. If your position is, I want to teach black people how to legally have firearms because the hood is dangerous and I want them to be defended, you're telling me in a roundabout way that the people suffering in the hood and being victimized in the hood are your primary concern. You have some sort of affinity for, passion for. I'm not going to question your sincerity, right? You started a movement, you started a program to teach people. You got a 501c3 or some shit. You're taking donations. You're doing some work that is making a positive impact for a problem that's an undeniable reality. I got to take my hat off to you and give you a kudos. But if I'm to take away from that you're doing it as a grift, you're doing it because you know that that's an open lane to get money, or you're doing it because you sincerely want to protect people. If you sincerely want to protect people, I can't reconcile that with the notion that we want to keep making it a fucking cool fucking thing to not be snitches, that there's some sort of betrayal to blackness. And I don't know. I'm not the holder of blackness. Doobie is. Doobie will decide what you owe. But I know right now you're at least a black leader. You're at least 2,500 past due.
That's 25, and I'm feeling Hotep niggery, so we got to get a little up fee on that one.
And
are you charging?
He got Negro infractions. You got infractions, bro.
Yeah.
In the statement that he just made, and he deleted the tweet where he blocked you, where he said blocked and deleted you. So that tweet
you can't
doesn't
even
exist
stand
anymore.
on your two
feet. Exactly. You talk about standing on something. You ain't even standing on the fact that you blocked the caveman, motherfucker. Like, if you as a black Twitter advocate for Black Guns Matter, if you can't disagree openly and block a caveman, you can't talk about nobody standing on nothing, B.
Bro, don't tell me nothing about white supremacy.
But your position, the position that you've openly taken, means that you accept criminality as part of blackness. I mean, if I'm wrong, Doobie, let me know. But that's the only the only people who have an interest, the only people who have a vested interest in criminals not snitching is other criminals. Who even the white cops who we say love nothing more than killing Negroes in the street, they like snitches because it locks more people up.
They make TV shows out of it.
Right. They got entire shows. They got tip lines and shit. All of this. Like, so they want snitches. The people who you say want to
Starsky and Hutch
destroy
Snoop
people.
Dogg
They want to kill everybody. They want to kill all the unarmed Negroes in the world. They want people to snitch so they can send more people to jail. If they can just put hands on you on the street and plant crack in your pocket, why do they need snitches? They like the snitches. But you, who's supposed to be protecting the community, are disparaging the people who are locking up criminals. Is it because you like their music? You miss Young Thug's music. You don't want him to go to jail because he makes too many bops for you. Like, it's really an indefensible point, and all of this is joke. It's just a joke. There's no way to defend it. And about libertarianism, I look at libertarianism the same way as I look at communism, anarcho-communism, like all of that shit. I think it's the same because you're removing the human element from your equation. You're writing down a lofty idea that you think will be carried out to its perfection just because you renamed it. What you're not doing is factoring in humans' propensity to be fucking despicable.
Humans gonna human.
And find a way to get around whatever it is you wrote. Whatever it is you wrote, we're not going to be mean to our neighbors. Well, is it really mean to throw a jar of shit on a guy if he votes wrong? That's not really mean. Like, they're going to figure out a way to do whatever the fuck they want to do and still call themselves whatever they want to call themselves. We got people out here right now who identify themselves as anti-fascists because of whatever reason, but all of the activities and violence and shit that they carry out is exactly what fascists would do.
Yeah, it's isn't it from like the word fasciste or something, like a bunch of like poles or something stuck together to be stronger? Like the whole idea is just mob rule. Like
Right,
you're gonna
mob
force
rule.
people.
But the
Yeah.
difference is they'll tell you is the mob rule is authoritarian and it's like not enforced by, it's in service of the government. So if you do mob rule in service against the government, you're not a fascist anymore. No, we have to do this. And if you vote wrong, I'm going to kick you in the teeth and I want to see you starve to death with your family on pay-per-view. Like, yeah, that's what Nazis would do. Yeah, that's totally the same energy. You're ready to be completely evil and inhumane because somebody disagrees with you. Not because they attacked you, not because they're trying to hurt you. Like, this guy thinks he should be able to live in a gated community with all white people, so let's cancel him and kill him. Well, what about the Black Hammer guys? They believe that they should live in a community with all black people. Well, that's fine, because that's reparative racism. That's okay, because you can choose to have a segregated graduation ceremony. That's not segregation anymore. That's empowerment. All right. Okay.
No, that's a great point that you made, is that all of these philosophies that people want to link up tribally for, they're just frameworks to kind of guide the human animal through all of this shit. But at the end of the day, to think any of them are beyond corruption. Right. Human beings are still going to call themselves whatever they've tribally identified themselves, even after they've betrayed all of the principles. Keep in mind, Jesus was crucified by Romans and Jews. Romans carried out the death sentence, the Jews begged for it. And the Roman Catholic Church was in charge of Christianity, and they used the Jewish holy book to substantiate it all.
Right.
You can just change shit on the like, yeah, I know we killed him, but trust me, this is what he was about. This is what he would definitely want you to obey the decree of King James. I know it. I feel it in my soul. Plus, you bitches can't read Latin, so it just is what it is. So people will take something that is powerful, that is true, that it does touch people's hearts and make people treat each other better and behave in a more enlightened fashion, and they will completely betray all of those principles, but still wear the fucking frock and silly hat and say, yeah, no, that's our shit. So yeah, it is really silly to think that any of these ideologies are going to be able to escape human corruption, and that it's anything other than metaphysics or fuck. And let me just say too, with that block, there was a chat that continued on that block.
Yeah.
And that's why this cowardly bitch ass dude deleted that, because other black dudes were in there saying, yeah, no, you're absolutely right. And this is how you know you got sunned and fucked up on black Twitter. When you have to delete a post because black people in your chat are agreeing with Yakub.
Yeah.
You know you fucked up at that point.
Yeah. You dropped the ball, B. You dropped the ball. And instead of standing on it, like you said you're supposed to stand on criminality, you couldn't even stand on a principled conversation. So how you expect somebody to stand on looking at 100 years?
Go back to selling guns, nigga.
Hey, the owner of Blackness said it better than either one of us could. That's exactly what you need to do. Stick to the retail game. Stick to hustling donations, because when you open up these real conversations that you clearly don't have the toolkit to operate in, you're going to play yourself. And maybe we don't have the following to make sure 2,500 people see this every day or 25,000 people watch. But just know,
watching.
You've been checkmated, son. At least maybe you got a great argument for why black people should get strapped. Maybe you got a great argument for a lot of other things. Maybe, being a bitch is anti-American. I don't know. Maybe we could dig into that and see whether we agree or disagree. But on this particular subject, you have been checkmated, my brother.
It's the compendium.
Yeah.
It's the compendium. It's untouchable. And also too, look, we know that we're never gonna build this shit in the same kind of way other people do because we're not grifting.
Right.
That's the fucked up thing is if you get on here and you find a lane and you just keep telling people what they want to hear, they will love you and you can fleece them out of their money. But if you really saying like, look, this conversation and this work that's in front of us, it's a lot more intricate and sophisticated than what a lot of these people are making it. It's not just solved with an ideology. It's not just solved with voting the right people in, with making the donation to the right organization. It's a lot more involved with that. It's going to take a lot of shit from the individuals. You know what? That's a slower build, but it also kind of shows you what Twitter is. Like, Twitter is really just a way for people to circle jerk their egos. How many people do I follow versus how many people follow me? I follow 238 people. 15 million people follow me. So guess what? Most of y'all ain't shit. I'm a lot better. And it's funny because Michael Malice does the same shit. Like, he'll shit on the people that are empowering him. Like, dude, if nobody buys your books, if nobody empowers what you say, you're just a dude typing on a computer. Like, this disdain for the regular people who do need to do the self-work, who aren't being called to do the self-work, who aren't being called to be a part of the solution. You're just one person that's standing up saying, no, don't do shit. I'll fix it. Just give me money.
Yeah.
Those dudes rise. But if you're saying, look, we're not trying to just suck Donald Trump's dick. We're not trying to tell you the Democratic Party is going to solve everything. We're not going to say all the shit about race that you want to hear, right? Because they expect you to say, well, listen, I like you because you made this point, so you better make all the points to line up with my ideology. If you're stuck in that place, and a lot of the audience is, right, you're not going to have the ability to process truth whatsoever. You're going to be easily deceived because people already know what to tell you to get into your pockets. But you got to have the openness to say, look, I believe in the work. I don't see eye to eye with you on this, and that's okay because the work is more important. Or you could be like that dude, Pterodactyl Bay and Tariq Nasheed. You leading and helping the fucking black community, but y'all making fun of each other's aunts. Like, you know, brother, the work is serious. White supremacy is serious. Can you believe this? Rogan got his white auntie cooking him pork stew. Can you believe it?
Right.
Who gives a fuck? Y'all got time for this shit, but y'all saving black people? There's a crisis going on. There's an endangered species of blackness, but you got time as a black leader to get on here and talk shit to each other like this? I question the integrity of your operation.
DVD doesn't make itself, man. He's got to make those coins.
Exactly.
Look,
and a fool and his money shall soon part.
Absolutely.
That's
Jewish
just the
proverb.
facts. That's the facts, dude. No matter how much you try, because I used to watch these cats, and then eventually I just realized it was a rinse, wash, repeat.
It's the same with me.
It's the same thing. You listen to all this shit, and it's like, oh yeah, man, that's interesting. But then it's like, but what the fuck are y'all doing though? Other than growing your YouTube channels and cashing out.
The sad part is too, like, I go in and out, so like I'll take breaks and then I'll come back in and it's the different person spewing the same bullshit, and then it's like there's some kind of scandal at the end of it all.
Yeah, I'll go on record as saying this: the person who I think has probably been most linearly beneficial to what they claim that they were trying to do throughout this whole thing was
Polite?
The Hebrew. No, Polite started off as, you know, he was wearing Egyptian makeup on his face and talking about saving black people, and then as soon as his money got right, he was like, well, y'all need Lamborghinis. That's all y'all really need. Fuck all that Egypt shit. You just need a white woman and a Lamborghini and you'll be fine. So his whole game changed, and like he dropped the ball too. But he was the most honest, because he didn't still try to keep doing the pro-black Hotep shit after he got bread. Once he got bread, he just started riding around in Bentleys and talking shit. So I was like, at least he kept it real. He transitioned when it was time to. But what's his name, brother? It's a guy. He's from the Hebrew Israelite school, and he kept it real from the beginning. He told these dudes, a lot of y'all just blowing smoke, y'all just talking shit, and I don't think you about nothing. We trying to save black men's lives and teach them how to do their thing right. And he stuck to his plan, and I don't see him doing no like, unless you call him out and ask him to get into a debate, stuff like that, he'll just be on his radio show talking about the Bible, telling brothers why they should join the Hebrew Israelite school. I don't see him.
Is that the dude that led the march for Kyrie in
I don't.
Brooklyn?
It might be. I can't remember his name at the moment, but I'm gonna look it up and find it. But he's from the ISUPK, is what they call it, the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge. ISUPK is one of the biggest and most successful schools or camps, they call it, of Hebrew Israelites. And he don't play no games. Son don't play no games. Now the guy who started this shit, and like the head of the school, is another thing. A lot of people got stuff to say about him. He calls himself General Yohana, and he's on, ADL, Anti-Defamation League, all that kind of shit. But his main soldier, gosh, what is his name?
Listen, can I just say something real quick? It just I've never heard of him. I've never seen any of his work. I absolve him of all anti-Semitism. I denounce the ADL for denouncing him.
Okay.
As the holder of Jewness, I invoke it, proclaim it. It is forevermore, henceforth. Please continue.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, he seems to have one of the most successful and long running. A lot of the other schools have broken up and splintered and changed their like ISUPK has been ISUPK with General Yohana as the head for like fucking 25 years or something like that. It's crazy. So they've been solid, at least if you look at what they say they are versus what they've been doing for this long. Oh, Tazariak, that's his name. He calls himself Brother Tazariak, and Captain Tazariak. Captain Tazariak, he ain't about no games. I've never seen him off his square, so to speak. He'll get into it with, Sinetter and all these other guys. He'll talk shit with him and laugh with him, but he makes it clear that he was on The Fallen State with Jesse. He has an episode with Jesse from a year ago, Jesse Lee Peterson. But yeah, Tazariak don't play no games, bro. He's destroyed Polite on the side of the street when they come try to talk to him. He's destroyed pretty much everybody who rolls up on him, all the Egyptologists, all the Islamic people. He's debated rabbis and shit. If anybody's on their square when it comes to that shit, it's him. But the rest of them dudes, complete 100% in the grift and living it up and enjoying themselves. They have a debate every few months about whether Islam or Egyptology is better for black people, and you got people who get up on the stage holding golden, they hold golden ankhs, and they're like, yes, my lineage
looking like fucking Yu-Gi-Oh.
Yeah, it's hilarious, bro, because they've usurped a lineage that they can't prove belongs to them in any other way than saying, well, we're all human, so technically I did have something to do with ancient Egypt. But he's like, no, all black people everywhere are responsible for Egypt, and we have the highest science in the world, and I'm going to take all credit for it, and I was trained as an Egyptian priest, and like, anyway, but it's all garbage. It's all
You can't explain how a light bulb works.
Right. You can't make one. You can't build a pyramid. You can't really read hieroglyphics. You're only reading what you've been told. None of this shit.
Or the white
really
man
matters.
has told him, by the way.
And even if you can read it,
These are French Egyptologists that got the Rosetta Stone and translated this and figured out what the hieroglyphics are. Like, I think they had it in like Coptic and Greek or whatever. But yeah, you're still parsing out knowledge that you didn't generate. And this whole shit, this has got to stop too. This is all silliness. There is no such thing as black people. If you believe all of the origin stories, and you could take it from the Darwinian shit, you could take it from the fucking the mythological shit. No matter how you break it down, it's Adam and Eve, right? You want to take the Garveyite interpretation that these were the beginnings of white people that were mutated in Africa and then cast out. Okay, you could take the Nation of Islam shit, that white people used to be black people, but then they started being made by a scientist with a giant head and cast out, right? You could frame it however you want, but in every single origin story, as the great poet DJ Premier said, we all come out of the same bag of shit. When you talk about white people by your own mythology and your own science and your own proclamations, you're talking about speciated Africans. That's what you're talking about. Your children left and figured out how to build spaceships and fucking cell phones. and you should be on board, and you don't look at it as, oh shit, this is some new shit, and he's been kind of using the technology wrong. Maybe we could be the moral voice to fucking kind of guide how we should use it, maybe be a part of it and use it for the better. Nah, fuck him. I created all that even though I can't explain how it works, and fuck that dude. He slept with dogs, and he smells like wet dogs, and he tastes like bologna. Fuck that dude. That's just such a stupid...
It's goofy as fuck, bro.
It's fucking goofy. You're talking, and this whole white supremacy shit too. Throw that shit out. Every time somebody says white supremacy, what you really mean is technological supremacy. You threw our yellow monkey-looking asses out, and we figured out how to make guns and rockets.
Bro.
Well, technically, you stole that from the Chinese, and y'all figured it out.
I don't know if you stole it from the Chinese. Maybe
they
some of the shit with gunpowder.
They
the gunpowder. They use it for fireworks.
They wasn't doing shit with
y'all cavemans were like, we could do something.
I know what to do with this shit.
We eventually got that shit to the Jews, and then they made the fucking atomic bomb. Listen. Oppenheimer, Einstein, what can y'all do with these firecrackers? We can destroy the world. We can figure it out.
You know what basketball looked like before Negroes came?
Oh, dude!
It was white dudes running up and down the court slowly at a brisk jog, awkwardly passing the ball 11 times before anybody even attempted.
All you hear is pass it here.
Yeah, that was the fundamentals. It was the game of passing, and
that's why they had to invent the shot clock.
Right. So if you're not mad at Negroes coming in and dunking the ball, you can't be mad at white men colonizing the world, because that's what happened. Negroes was meandering around the planet, passing the ball, eating mangoes naked with their 11 wives, and then white men was like, dunk, bitch, y'all playing too much. We got to get this ball rolling. Yeah,
right.
So
they were like, look, my wife died in a severe winter. All I had was these dogs to keep me warm. I had to figure out how to do all this alchemy and shit to survive and make potions and shit. And now I'm eventually translating that into nuclear bombs and firearms.
Right.
Like that's all it was. That's all it was. It was technological. When you talk about white supremacy and blacks, this all fucking silly shit. You're all the fucking same thing. But if you want to cling to these identities, if you want to deny your universal humanity and say we're just this, look, that's your prerogative, and I support you in your decision. Is it absolutely correct based on the breadth of knowledge available to us all? Of course not. But you're entitled to be wrong. But if you're going to be a public figure and say, well, I'm now associating myself with this particular identity that I've chiseled out with no real hard and fast rules about it, but it is what it is, and then you broadcast things that are in service of that identity that are really destructive, and you're asking people for money on top of it, as the greatest think tank that's ever been assembled in the history of the world, we have an epistemic responsibility to lovingly call you out and point out the bullshit.
Facts.
This isn't what's best for black people. If you consider yourself black, just being angry at white people and talking about white supremacy nonstop, and then wanting to have the bigger swath of the market share, so you make fun of the other black leaders so that the other people can follow you. Oh, he sure did talk shit about him. I guess because all you want is shit talking controversy. If that's what the people respond to, cool, you'll get more followers. But if you sincere, is that what the people need? Is that really what the people need? So the best way that you're going to really make a following that's significant is got to be the slow boil. Fuck getting 10,000 people that ain't about shit, but you talk the shit to the right person, so now they love you and they with you. But you get those 10,000 people over 5 years instead of 10 minutes because they believe in the work and they know that the work is sincere and they're ready to put in the work too. That's a sincere movement. We don't have enough of that online. We need more influencers that follow 5 million people and got 5 million people following them. But all of these people that are just kind of the lightning rods, at some point it all becomes about them. Because we brought up a real issue to you that you had a chance to really get into and defend it if you really felt that way, or you had a chance as a brother that's concerned about real shit to be humbled and say, you know what, you gave me something to think about. Maybe I was wrong. I see your point. But instead, you blocked Yaqub. First of all, you can't block Yaqub. Yaqub owns the internet. But I got to tell you, I have been trolling Riza Islam. I've been, I think Dr. Umar Johnson put up some shit. It was like some painting of the planets. and all the planets were jumbled together. I'm like, yo, that's not the order of that. Just being petty. Like, he's advertising himself, and I'm just pointing out, yeah, that piece of art it's not correct. The planets aren't in the right order. That's some petty, ridiculous shit to do. No block. No block. I tell you some shit respectfully, and you move to the block, and then after that, you make a post about how you fucking a fine bitch that's adding value to your life, and you don't have no time to listen to other people's opinions. That's an incredible level of arrogance.
That's a horrible person.
At some point, all these dudes that are asking for money on behalf of black people while black people's problems still don't get solved, at some point, if you watch them long enough, they all make it about themselves. Yeah. At some point, it's all about me as the icon. And I don't want to say just black dudes that are grifting. It's a particular grift in hip hop that you get familiar with, but really it's universal. All of these dudes. Like, I called out somebody on my team. I think Michael Malice does the same shit too. He shits on little people, the people that make him.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So is it about the person? Is it about the identity? Or is it about the ideas and the work?
Right. I definitely hold a lot of these black folks in this space more accountable, because a lot of them will admit in the same breath that black people are underrepresented here and they're being taken advantage of here, and we're the poor and we don't have no power. Like, they give you all this narrative to make you feel sorry for yourself while asking you for money. I hold Dr. Umar more accountable because he said it directly. He summed it up himself, but this is the energy that a lot of them have. Yeah, sister, you gave me $10 and I know you barely had that, but next time make it 20. That's the shit that pisses me off. If you grifting people who are making $100,000 a year to bring yourself up the ranks, go get it, son. But if you choose the population that you recognize is being systematically downtrodden, and that's who you choose to take your money from, just so you can flex about who you bang in and how often you go to the gym, son, I'm sorry. You're disgusting. You're despicable.
You know what? You changed my mind. I've been shitting on Patrice Colors and Black Lives Matter for the longest. You changed my mind about that shit. That's a more righteous grift. Take it from spoiled white people. Don't do anything for the black community. Fuck them, right? That's the program. You're just trying to get rich. Cool. But I respect you more if you make promises to the black community and never do shit for them, but you get all your funding from guilty rich white people.
Yeah,
and that's a more respectable grift.
I would listen to you all day.
That's actually frowned on by the black people. Black people don't want white people's money. So you've said that they're all rich, they got all the money, and we're all poor, broken, and downtrodden. But when you create a business, you target the poor, broken, and downtrodden. These are the people who should make me rich. Fucking how? How? And when you do manage to successfully cross into getting white money, they tear you down and tell black people not to support you. This happened with a hair product that I remember particularly. This was the first time I saw it openly. There was a company that made black hair products. Then they started to kind of branch out into a wider audience, and then a ginger ended up on the cover of one of their advertisements. Black people went to the store, showed the ginger white woman, took a picture of that, put it on Black Twitter, and was like, fuck this company, don't buy their shit no more, because they sold out. How does that make any sense? Why don't y'all made it popular, right? Negroes made it popular, then the white people want it. Why don't y'all just back away slowly, hand it to the white people, and let them make this company that you love rich? Why wouldn't you do that? Why do you want them to you just want them to take money from poor people? The people that you have admitted are systematically poor on purpose because white people hold them down. So why is that the group of people that you choose to take the money from? How is your enemy's money not good enough? How is your enemy's money not preferable to taking the money from the people who support you, who you say don't have it? That'll never make sense to me. Why aren't you cooking up products and packages to sell directly to them and have black people be your stockholders so they can be enriched from white money pouring in? No, you know why? Problem. Because that mathematics is white supremacy. We don't think like that.
It's 2 + 2 = 4. It's linear thinking. Supremacy. I think the African American Museum has something plastered on the wall to that effect that teaches us who's allowed to invoke what kind of attributes and who they're associated with. But again, if you listen to it long enough, it's all about associating the worst, most unsuccessful tactics as an identity, and associating the best tactics and the most successful tactics as the opposite identity.
Right.
So you've crippled yourself from right out of the gate if you tell yourself, oh well, economics is some white people shit.
Yeah.
So we're gonna be successful with the black version of it. Well, what's associated with the black version of it? Never snitching, never having a safe place to invest money.
Right.
That's it. Because and you're right. When you start making this that's why Doobie is so necessary. We need somebody who truly gives a fuck about black people and this hive mind virus that's going around and making people defend indefensible shit. Right? We need somebody to say, like, nope, that shit ain't black no more, in an authoritative way. Like, I know you've been told in the past, like Jesus on the mountain. I know you heard in the past that black people aren't cool with linear thinking or saving or investing money. But I say unto you, sell crappy hair products to those crackers. I say unto you, take their money. Stop taking money from the broke black widow. Stop taking her money. Right. I say, there's got to be a different standard that's popularized. And when we see people are out of line about it, look, we're the holy watchers. We're the think tank. Y'all do what y'all do. Get your followers. Run your grifts how you want. But slowly but surely, the universe is conspiring in our favor to bring people to a point of enlightenment. And they're going to learn from you, whether by your good deeds or whether by us pointing out your wrong deeds. But at some point, the truth is going to bubble to the surface. And you're not going to be able to sell this narrative to people anymore that only provokes them emotionally but doesn't give them the real tools. Because if you truly cared about the people you give a fuck about, or you say you do, then you're breaking down the economic principles here. Like, wouldn't you like black people to not spend money on this product? Wouldn't you like rich white people with more disposable income to buy the fuck out of this product and create jobs for the black employees and the black stockholders?
A fire idea. Black people selling hair products to white people, and then you could do the commercial.
They could create a co-op. They could create a neighborhood improvement program. They could create a stock program. They could do so much shit and then be like, all right, now we're going to put a white woman on the bottle. Don't nobody get offended. This going to bring in hundreds of millions of dollars and we're going to funnel it back here. All right, word. That sounds like a plan. Instead, let's cancel these motherfuckers because they're selling it to white people now. And I'm sure there's a way to blame that on white people too, like for not teaching black people how to make their own money. But they know how to do all this other shit. They know how to hustle. They know how to flip the pack. They know how to buy the Jordans. They know how to do all of this shit. They know how to shop with the Korean people for their beauty products. And they know when they go to a black-owned beauty store, that's when you shoplift and bargain and haggle for prices.
Or you don't even go there because they have an attitude with you.
Right.
Look, well, white supremacy is the easiest shit in provoking emotions on black Twitter. You could get everybody to put their money in a savings account, not paying them shit, if you just changed the 401k to 401kkk. If you just added 2 additional letters, people would be so outraged and they would work against their own financial interest. Yeah, but this shit gets you 48% in returns last year. Fuck it, it's racisms.
Right.
Take all my money out.
Right.
Give me 2% in a high yield savings.
It's silly. It's silly, and they keep perpetuating it, especially the ones who seem to have cracked the code. Because the ones who are at the top of the influencer game, they know. They putting their money in the right place. They knew exactly what they're doing. You don't get to ride around in a Bentley just because you got enough money to buy one. Like, this is a encompassing idea and lifestyle. He's buying the right watches. He's buying the right cars. He's going to the Gucci store. Like, why is that the place you show up at? But this is the same thing that Kanye went through, right? When he was talking about, we don't need this stuff. We buy a lot of clothes, but we don't really need them. But we can't buy freedom. What did he say? Drug dealer buy Jordans, crackhead buy crack, and a white man get paid off for all of that. And then a few years later, he's like, why won't the white man let me in? I want to be Balenciaga. I want to be like Gucci. I want to do. Why do you take your shit to those people? Why is it if you get a check that there's nobody, maybe the quiet ones do it. I'm not saying all black people do this, but the ones who outright do this, they're the loudest and they get the most attention, not only from, it's not the mainstream media posting, hey, this man won $30,000 in the lottery and he went and bought a necklace and then got robbed for it in Philly the same day. That's not the mainstream media posting that. That's black Twitter saying, look at this dumb nigger. They're laughing about it. But then they...
Rogan hard R.
Oh, my bad. Yeah, this Rogan with a hard R. Look at this dumb Rogan with a hard R.
Roll your tongue.
And they...
Rogan!
And they laugh about it. These are the people who make the most noise. The people who quietly go put their money in other places. They're white supremacists.
You're
they
right.
hate themselves, and all of this shit. The narrative is completely mixed up, and at this point, it's black folk carrying it out. I don't want to go back far enough to look at the white man who told you that money is evil. Why are you still telling your children that today, 150 years later? I don't want to go look at it doesn't make sense anymore. You've been passing this torch for so long. Don't tell me somebody handed it to you 100 years ago and you just been handing it to your children ever since. That's your fault. Don't tell me about how slaves had no other choice but to eat chitlins. Why are you eating them today, though?
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense. You have to have some type of accountability for your own existence. If you don't have accountability for your own existence at this point, then it makes me feel like the shit they were saying about you is true. The only people who would do this at this point is the barefoot shuffling Aunt Jemima. Oh, I don't want to make boss angry. That's the people who would do that. If that's not you, you got your own job, you paying your own bills, you working, you know how to work your smartphone. How are you still doing this shit? It don't make no sense. It don't make no sense. But to blame the white man is super easy. To protect snitching because somehow it resonates with your idea of blackness. You would rather identify with the integrity of a criminal keeping his mouth shut than the integrity of him saying, you know what, I was wrong, send all those motherfuckers to jail. We don't want to do this anymore. This shit don't make no sense, bro. This shit don't make no sense. Why is there a Chiracology Reddit page where people post pictures of the death scenes and video of motherfuckers committing murders and shit like that so they can high five and laugh about it? Why is this shit? First of all, why does it exist? Why is it here for all of us to consume? Second of all, why are there so many people who want to go there and keep track of all the numbers and the digits and who got who and what pack they smoking on? And this is just the lifestyle for people. It's so
it
bad.
Could hit the suburbs.
It's so bad that it's trickled down to now you can have a career by keeping track. This is how DJ Academics. I don't know who he's ever DJ'd for. I don't know if he's ever put out a mixtape. I don't know if he's making any beats. I don't know what he's done. The only thing he's DJ'd, the only thing I know that he's DJ'd is Negro Criminality. That's his mixtape. Negro Criminality. This guy shot that guy. Then 2 weeks later, that guy shot this guy. Yo, Chirac is crazy, son.
Yeah,
and he's like a millionaire because.
No, he invented nigga news, and it's just now it's just a world whole of
right
hoogonomics, nigga news, niggatry. Niggadom.
Rogan.
What's the
Rogan?
What's the other thing? Thug gossip.
Yeah,
he mastered the thug gossip.
He's mastered. It's amazing.
Yeah, dude.
He created it.
He's never put out a mixtape. He's like what is it with the yarn and pictures like Charlie had when he was trying to file to Pablo, whatever it was. Like he's smoking cigarettes. Like he's connecting the dots of who killed
black
who.
Criminality and just all the songs with murders that really happened. Your mixtape is death.
Yeah,
and
by the way,
he ain't committing no crimes. I give him that much. Like at the very least,
yeah, he's very clear about that. Yeah,
DJ Academics is a net positive that he's transmuted from a complete net loss. Chicago is a net loss, and I said this before. I'm gonna say it publicly. I don't give a shit. In some of the moods that I've been in, if you caught me on the right day, I might be able to make a better decision at a different time. But if you caught me on the right day, I would vote to put an exterminator tent over Chicago and gas that motherfucker. Fuck it, right? Just fuck it. Like, if you want to let some people out, go talk to some single mothers and shit and just be like, yo, you want to leave Chicago? And if she says yes, and you say, all right, pack your bags and we leaving right now.
You got Sodom and Gomorrah.
Right, Sodom and Gomorrah. If you look back, I'm going to turn your ass into a pillar of salt. If she says, well, I don't know, I've been here so long and I don't know, leave that bitch.
Pillar of salt.
Gas the whole shit, B. Gas the whole shit. There's nothing there but insects. And I know, when you dehumanize people and that makes it easier to kill them, fuck it. They're insects. They don't have the capacity to feel human emotion. They don't know what preservation of life means. I just saw a dude who committed a double murder, went to jail, did 12 years, got paroled by some extremely negligent, criminally negligent people, paroled him just so he could commit a quadruple murder. after he
What's
gets
going
out
on
of
with
jail.
the court system like these days? I feel
I
like
think they're
it's
trying to
like
prove. I think they're trying to prove what they've always been saying about. They're trying to prove Devin
Now, you
Tracy
want to
right.
defund the police? Okay,
No,
this is
yeah,
what happens
this
when
is
you
what happens
defund
when
the
you defund the police. This is just shit
police.
for AIU to be like, I told you.
I told you these bleeps would do it if you
I
just left
told
them
you.
to their own devices.
I told you, just leave them alone. And I've said it all the time. I said the same thing about South Africa. If they want to rape babies and chop people's heads off until white people leave, leave. I know a lot of them boys have dual citizenship. Go back to Belgium and eat some chocolate hands. That's not scary at all, right? Go back to Belgium. Go back to Belgium. Go back to wherever you came from. Leave the Negroes there. What are they going to do? What do you think they're going to do? They're going to start raping babies and chopping heads off black people. You think you stop that when the white people leave? You think you stop raping children because, these are black, so I won't do that. Look at the Congo. The Congo is one of the most violent rapist places in America. And I'm talking about not just like, oh, we rape people. No, we put guns inside people. We do wild shit because we're Congolese.
Oh, yeah.
Fuck it. That's what we do here. We get child soldiers and give them guns and make them kill their own family. You think that's something? You think they learned that from white men?
Right.
That's what.
Let's
Come on.
bring it back. Let's bring it back to a closer place. In Haiti right now, documentary. Haiti right now is a hellhole, like fact. But currently, right now, story that I heard, gang members came inside another Haitian's, the countryman, home, had a wife. Dude hid under the bed, had a nephew. He decided to run. They shot the nephew, and it was 5 guys. Wife is in the bed. They found the wife. All 5 guys raped her, and he's under the bed listening to all this.
Right.
Ugh.
And they were all black.
Keep in mind, Viva la IET. You want to free the country.
Right.
The people are destroying our country.
But let's blame that on the Clintons.
Exactly.
Right? That's the Clintons' fault. If it wasn't for get the fuck out of here, bro. If you can,
Exactly.
the only way to do that is to breed it into people from young. You got to be destroyed as a human mind from the very beginning to get to a place where you can rape and murder indiscriminately. This is not, or you were just, like you just born fucked up, or you were indoctrinated into some terrible shit. You were raised by the Mansons. You were raised by some Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
There's a lot
mutants,
of that.
Some of the Hills Have Eyes mutants or some shit. You can't help being born into that. You was eating human flesh before you knew what it was. Now you just got a taste for it. My bad. Like so, but the point is, tent, gas. There's no other way to fix it. There's no way. The rappers are having a great time. Like King Von was rapping about the murders that he committed with a straight. When you think about a serial killer and murderer, at least Jeffrey Dahmer was an all-around sicko. What if Jeffrey Dahmer had a mixtape? What if he was out in the
Vaughn
street?
and Dahmer in the same category because he rapped about it, sang about it,
Von
taught
is
people
worse.
on
Von's
Twitter.
worse.
And like he knew what he was doing because he knew he was gonna get caught. He was like, I don't care what happens, I'm gonna get caught.
Yeah, Von is
like,
worse because he was comfortable and he was like he was functional. He could go out to the club and party. He could perform his rap songs. Jeffrey lived in an apartment that stank like dead.
Yeah, put him in a vat of steel. Eat a Rogan's ass for real. Can't wait
Right.
for that Dama mixtape to drop.
If he was able to function that high and be that cool and persuasive and charismatic, that makes you worse as a murderer.
And stand in front of the bathtub where he chopped him up. Stand in front of the freezer. Like
Right.
making a
Right.
video like it was right here.
Right.
Right here is where I put the torso and
it's
the
terrible,
penis.
bro. It's absolutely terrible. And I don't, people just have chosen their alignment. Like I said, humans have an extreme propensity to do despicable shit. And personally, the way I am, my radical optimism tells me that we have just as much capacity to be compassionate and loving and everything else. And that's part of how we made it this far. But also, it just stretches to both extremes. We're just as terrible as we are good. And there may not be a way to completely remedy that in the third dimension without metaphysics or without something extreme happening on a cellular level. I say it all the time. It's not just a decision. Some of us are fortunate that we've had lives that allow us to apply these perspectives and think about these different ways to think about things, to see things, and to be different ways to be. Maybe it was psychedelics, maybe it was religion, maybe it was just growing up in a loving family that gave you the principles that you needed to be a good human. But we're lucky. We're fortunate to have experienced that. Some people, the people who grow up in motherfucking Chirac, they have no clue. No clue. If these aren't children that you could take in the fresh air fund and get it out of them before they're 10, 15 years old, I think sexual activity is what cements it, because that's what kind of makes you an adult. That takes all your innocence away. So if you can't get them out of that environment before they're sexually active, they got to stay in a tent. They got to stay in the tent, because there's already been 10-year-olds, 12-year-olds that's out there on murder sprees and shit like that. Like the one.
There was a recent one with the 13, 12-year-old killed two girls.
Right. That's
they
what
were
I'm
like
saying.
22 at that.
I think that's what we're conflating when we want to be compassionate. Because I think if you're a hip hop dude, you know, you either grew up with someone or knew someone. Like there's some sort of friendship with somebody that you know that was wilding out and then became a decent human being. Like you know that there is the opportunity for some sort of redemption arc.
That depends on what you mean by wilding out. Like when I think people who was wilding out but became good human beings, I got a homie right now who's living it up, has got a great job, you know, got a nice wife and kid and all of that shit. And we used to like throw bottles. We used to throw 40 bottles and shit when the bus was going by. We used to go to the mall deep, like 5 deep, and fucking try to punk people at the arcade and shit like that. He wasn't committing murders though.
No.
Hold on.
You're
committing murders and killing people. You signed up to a different
saying,
level.
We were throwing 40 bottles. You know what I mean? That's different.
No, listen, petty vandalism. You know, being a knucklehead, doing stupid shit, funny shit, whatever. But irresponsible shit that you can look back on now is like, that probably wasn't a great idea. I'm not talking about that. Malcolm X had a redemption arc, right? Selling drugs, moving hookers, right, to their Johns or whatever, like definitely contributed to some of the negativity and the ills. But at some point was like, you know what, this isn't for me. And so what we do is we put in our heads that everybody has this redemption arc. But what I'm saying is there's a Rubicon that gets crossed. Once you shoot the baby in the stroller, right, it's too late for you.
So it's a wrap.
Like, that's where we say like, oh, but we could have reached him and we could have saved him. But we didn't. We didn't, and now we need to purge him. We need to snitch on him. We need to get rid of him. It's tragic. I wish somebody in his life would have helped talk some sense into him. I wish he had more economic opportunities and role models in within his sphere that would have guided him in the right direction. But we failed. We didn't do it. And now that he snitched, he's no longer now that he's murdered a baby, he's no longer one of us. Now he's part of the problem, and there's somebody else that we want to protect that's not going to go down that route. And that's why I think we conflate it. It's like we look, and that's one of the things he erased when he deleted that thing. I'm like, why are we pretending all of these dudes are like Malcolm X and Noble Drew Ali? Like, why are we acting like these are like righteous saviors and we need to protect them? It's like, no, there is no chance for a redemption arc here. Like, these are already dudes that got bodies. Like, they're done. Like,
if Malcolm X made $1 million selling hookers, his redemption arc would have disappeared. These motherfuckers have been too well compensated for their fuckery. Then it's no going back. They're making too much money. They're too accepted in the hood. Malcolm X was on the run when he was committing crimes. You know what I'm saying? He wasn't comfortable enough. Even the world, the underworld that he existed in, there's not the underworld anymore. That's a Twitter influencer. You know what I'm saying? They got too much money. Yeah. Too many people are paying them. That's why this Young Thug shit, all the shit they're involved in, and they making all this money off music. They got fancy cars and all. They banging every woman. It's too far gone. You've been too well rewarded for bad behavior to ever go back. Malcolm X ended up in a horrible place and had to make some decisions. That was when prison was prison. Now it's gladiator college.
Yeah, when they gave you books and the priest was in there to talk to you every week.
All you get to do now is lift weights and rape.
Stab motherfuckers, pull out
Ain't no
swords.
More books, bitch.
Gladiator
Ain't no books,
world.
bitch. What you mean books? All you get to do now is get strong and rape whoever comes in after you.
Yeah. You mean those heavy things we put on people so they can't move while we're raping them? Is that what you're talking about?
You mean the things that you wrap around your waist when you don't want to get stabbed in the stomach? Oh, the phone book. I know what you mean. Yeah. I know what you mean. Yeah, that's it. That's all this shit's for. Ain't no more reading in here, bro. You go to school in here, you get raped next.
Well, they got phones now, so shit.
Yeah, they on TikTok.
That's what they use the.
They
the
on TikTok
bookstores.
finding who they gonna get pregnant when they get out.
They make armor now.
Shit's goofy, bro.
See, Dolores Tucker was a hero.
Yeah, right. She was trying to save us from this.
She
was
saw.
trying
We
to
just
save
like
us
ain't
from
nothing
this.
but a gangster party.
She was like,
no,
no, this can't be. And see Dolores Tucker, motherfucker, they was mad, bro. They was mad. And look who was mad. Peep this. Look who was mad. It was the intellectuals of hip hop. It was KRS-One and Channel Live.
Yeah.
Those were the intellect. That guy was an English teacher. He was an English teacher. Wait a minute. Hold on. You're an English teacher and a rapper, but you don't see the future of destruction that C. Dolores Tucker is trying to protect us from. How? You playing both sides now. You're an English teacher. There's already hoods you can't go in because you've shown that you're a pussy. Your teacher will kick your ass, bro. You're not a drug dealer. You're not a gangster. You're an English teacher. The children that you teach are going to be getting killed because of what C. Dolores Tucker was trying to avoid. How did you not see that? How did you not know that? How did the teacher, the person who calls himself the teacher, KRS-One, knowledge reigns supreme over nearly everyone. I don't like that this lady is talking bad about thuggery and fuckery on albums and people getting rich off this bad behavior. I don't like it. You know why? Because they thought it was against blackness. They thought it was against the hood identity. That's what they were protecting. Where you were already operating outside of what was accepted as the hood identity.
It's not. It's cave beast, violent colonial European penis worship.
Yep. Give it back. And I got another one. I want to show this for real quick. I ain't gonna show too much because it's absolutely horrible. But this is a video that's on World Star Hip Hop right now. And I just want people to see just a little bit of this. And my point for showing this video is give it back. Let them have it. It's time to back away slowly, right? You've seen somebody pick it up and you go, you know what? I've been trying to put this down. My longevity on this planet might mean I need to put this down. And when you see these other people pick it up, let them have it. This should belong to them now. So check this out real quick. This is a video on World Star Hip Hop called, I don't even know the name of the song, but her name is Amanda Please. We don't even have to go to World Star. We can go straight to YouTube. That's even better. Fuck World Star.
Ask for Days, Amanda Please.
Ask for Days.
Days?
Is the name of the Days, bro.
Days with the money sign.
Yeah, Ask for Days. There's no better time for black people.
Can you put a like on it, please?
Yeah, absolutely.
Hit that like button.
I love
Smash
it.
that like.
Shake that ass, shorty, you know you got ass for days. Shake that ass, shorty, as if you was getting paid. Shake that
Snow
ass,
bunnies just don't
shorty,
hit the
if you
same
wanna be a
anymore.
star. Shake that
That's
ass,
not a
shorty,
snow bunny.
till
She
you
got a-
get brand new car.
She got a fatty though.
That's a snow ferret.
Shake that ass, shorty, you know you got ass for days. Shake that ass, shorty, as if you was getting paid. Shake that ass, shorty, if you wanna be a star. Shake that ass, shorty,
Yeah.
till you get a brand new car. Yeah, he love when I shake that ass. Throw it back, put it on, and make it
Sorry,
pull it
Dr.
out
Umar.
fast. I get my money
No,
from
Dr.
my
Umar's
dick,
watching
then
this
I
video
stomp the
right
gas,
now.
smoke my blunt while I ride to the dome.
I was so hit it, Dr.
Bro, you see this, right? Like, we understand what's happening here, right? We understand what's happening here. How
The reconvergence. These are two forces that were artificially pushed away from each other
Yep.
that are reconverging. So if you ever doubt
She's a
the
butthead,
work
too.
of the great Thomas Sowell, who told us that this was all the same culture. Black people do not own this shit.
She's a
Black
put a bag
people,
over her
the
head.
Scots, they all own this shit together.
Yeah.
But this is just this is telling us what it's always been. It's like, yeah, this is some shit that's poison for everybody. That every sane person who loves their family and loves their community and wants to see righteousness within their sphere of influence, these are the things that all of those people stay away from.
Right. No matter who they are. If you see yourself building a strong
Ooh, we got a
family
split.
who's a positive influence on itself and the greater community around it, this is not the behavior you're engaging in. I'm sorry. Not like this.
Look,
Not saying you can't drive
Fantastic.
four-wheelers and drink beers and still have a great. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the hypersexualization, the drug use. They're talking about prostitution. Shake your ass like you was getting paid, girl.
I don't need no potion, I'm the quotient, I'm explosive. If he got a big dick, I might ride it till he's broken. If the beat go horrible, baby, I might wanna choke him, coach him, feel him up and deep throat him. I am the straight shooter, I've got no time for notions and I'm working.
She's got gold teeth. She's dressed like the devil. Her and her friends are sharing hot dogs, and she's doing splits on.
Got a
on
motorboat in there.
I'm convinced. Like,
Shout out
look,
to
them
this
have
is
it.
all of these white people giving money to Black Lives Matter, putting the black square in your profile. You're fucking up. If you
Right.
really want to save the hood, this is a time-tested,
There you go.
true.
That's the money shot.
Look, this is an
Oh, yeah.
absolutely
Oh, yeah.
undeniable, time-tested, whatever tactic. The moment that black people believe or perceive that some shit has become white people shit, they
Yeah.
absolutely abandon it.
Right.
As soon as black people are like, oh, white folks like that now, fuck it, I
Bro,
can't like it.
you
So
see
the
this?
best thing the best thing you can
I'm
do
watching.
is
watching.
become a
Stop
strip
entertainment, you getting PBOF.
become a strip hopper, start murdering each other in your neighborhood for absolutely no reason,
Mhm.
start broadcasting it on the gram, start
is
doing
this?
all the
On
ignorant
YouTube.
shit,
I've
killing.
seen like 30 pussy lips. already.
Yeah, it's you see the whole concept. Look, but don't say groomer.
Oh yeah,
But-
that'll
but
get you
don't-
taken down.
Yeah, that your content will go. AIU can't have a channel because he says bleeps, but this bitch can show the contours of her whole labia.
No, she showed
The
not
entire
the
thing.
contours. She showed
She's
that's,
might as well she's
that is
naked,
box
bro.
lip. That
Oh wait,
my
I didn't
friend,
see that one.
That's
Yeah.
box lip, my friend.
That's some meat curtains hanging out the
That's
side.
full on
Yeah.
box lip, brother. I'm sorry.
Like, come on, man.
Oh yeah, you could do
Come on.
the real search right here. That's box lip, my friend.
Bro, if you show this at a nursing home right now, there's gonna be plenty of
Heart
gentlemen
attack.
telling you, hold on.
Pause it right there. Look,
Play that,
bro,
play that again. Play that again.
No, wait a minute. I think I saw a lot more.
that's
than-
box. That's a full box on YouTube.
BET uncut material. This was slide right in.
It's the whole box.
Look at that.
Bro.
They're washing it. You can see. Look at this.
Bro, listen, I'm just saying this might be the time for us to quietly migrate back to neo soul.
Oh my gosh.
Just let them have this. It's gone. It's over. It's over. And I bet you know what? I bet you now the black folks are going to start to look at this with repulsion, because that's the way the black psyche works. They're going to be like, you know what? This shit ain't cool no more. Like
Are
you
these the
said.
beautiful girls Maj was talking about?
Yeah. Bro, yeah.
Shake that ass, shorty, till you get a brand new car.
Shake. But you know what? If shaking your ass gets you a brand new car, I can't even be mad, bro. Just do what you got to do.
Yeah,
Hey,
man.
man.
If he's throwing it at you, take it.
Yeah, that's what's going on. This is what
I don't
happened
know
in the
who
world.
funded this. Who funded this? Who was in the studio with her? She's not talented.
Look, you'll
Like,
be
you
surprised.
could-
Well, I have
Listen,
to. I have to
Listen,
disagree.
listen. I know a woman right now, currently 3 kids, 3 baby daddies, crazy as fuck from Mississippi. Shout out to her, who has a rap song and a video. So you'll be surprised how many things people would do to try to get the vagina.
Listen, I
Wow.
believe her. First of all, we already know.
I'm pretty sure she threw it down at the cameraman because I
Of
would have.
Yeah,
course.
I guess
What
whoever
other currency
financed
can
this.
you pay
Like,
him
okay,
in?
wait a minute. So somebody just gave this bitch a fake rap career so they could smash. They paid
That's
for
it.
the studio time. The video. You know what? That makes
All
sense.
right, and everybody along the whole chain of command hit. So the guy who made the beat hit, the guy who
The guy
runs the studio
with the
hit,
fire, holding the
guy
fire,
who
he
did the
hit.
mixing and mastering hit, the cameraman hit. We're making
Yeah,
a
the fire juggler. Yeah,
Yeah,
you're
he
right. He
definitely
got some
smashed.
too. He's like, I'm not showing up to juggle fire unless I
Yeah.
get some ass.
What you gonna pay me? Yeah, she
She's just-
fucked 11 people to make this happen. At least
Yeah.
11 people.
This is sad and shameful.
There's not that many.
but
There's not that
she
many
got the
vaginas
video.
that's
The
being
sil-
shown. That
the
nobody
silver
hit.
lining.
I'm sorry.
She got
No,
the
but the-
video made though. So
But I love the takeaway. The takeaway is let them have it.
Take it
Let
back,
this just
yeah.
be
Yes,
white
let them
people
have it.
shit.
it's
Let
Let
theirs
it be
anyway.
white people shit and back away.
It's theirs
Yeah.
anyway, because if you let the Hoteps tell the story, Negroes were all regal kings and queens. There were no peasants, there were no subjects, there were no slaves. There was all regal kings and queens of the universe. It was the the triple rising out of triple darkness.
Like an HOA.
It was the kings of the universe. That's what they all were. Everybody was.
They
Mansa
were all
Musa.
Twitter influencers.
Yeah.
They all had more
Yep.
followers than people they were following. All of them.
It was like going to the Million Man March in Africa. Every Negro had a tuxedo on. All of them. There was no warring between the tribes. They had figured out life completely.
They were rich and they did the labor.
And then along came the cave dog, who fucked everything up. And black people didn't know nothing about raping and stabbing each other in the guts. They didn't know nothing about that. It was medieval white torture. That's what they came and brought to the planet. And they've done it so well in such a short time that they've taught the entire world to be brutal and terrible. And the only reason Negroes are brutal and terrible today is because they learned it from white people. So let them have it back. Stop culturally appropriating violence.
Yeah.
What are you doing? You complain about cornrows, but you out here shooting each other like white people. You shooting each other like the Hatfields and McCoys. You chopping each other up like the Scots
You're
and the
acting
fucking
like white
and the
people.
Right,
Gauls.
and didn't Europeans
like white
invent
people.
guns?
Right.
Yes.
Well, how is that not culturally appropriating if
Right.
you're obsessed with guns? Who invented strip
Stop.
You're
clubs?
supposed to be
Acting
using
like
a
white
short
people.
spear like Shaka Zulu.
That's right.
If
Spears.
you're really keeping it real.
A short
Sticks.
spear too. If you ain't got
That's
your
it.
man holding a bucket of spears, and when you spin the block, you hop out the car, and he just hands you spears while you throwing them at all the ops. Then
you ain't blow
you're a
dart
white
Cultural
supremacist.
appropriation.
You're a white
Fuck outta
supremacist,
here.
B. You not
Look,
only are
get
you a
here.
white supremacist,
Oh,
you're a
dude.
homoerotic white supremacist because you're out here blasting white penises at each other. That's what you're really doing in essence.
Dude, you are not keeping it real unless you're showing up pulling up on the ops with blowguns and spears.
Right.
Wow.
Right. Or
Using
hand-to-hand
shots.
combat like honest Africans would do. They would form a circle in the dirt. They would take their clothes off and they wrestle with each other. So you still get all the man-on-man contact that you're looking for. Because I'm sure all of y'all basically, we've solved this. I'm pretty sure.
Yes.
I'm about to say, I just want to check with everybody to make sure that is solved in the compendium. Wanton, unapologetic criminality is homosexuality, right? Latent
It is
homosexuality.
absolutely latent homosexuality. This is a community that has not yet accepted homosexuality. There's a lot of what liberals call rampant homophobia and transphobia. And as such, gay men in the hood do not feel the freedom to be themselves. So instead of just going to a pride parade and some sex dungeons, they're rolling up on their ops, they're airing out the block so they can go to the one place where it's absolutely okay to be gay. Prison.
I thought,
Yeah.
violent.
Yes.
Oh,
And
yeah,
violent,
yeah.
gay and violent. So
You
that's
could all
what it
learn
is.
this on Oz.
So y'all
How the
could,
best
if
teaches
you're not
it
using
to you.
spears, you're playing yourself. You're promoting white supremacy and white homosexuality. It's sodomite behavior. Sodomite behavior. And also stop snitching. Sodomite behavior. When they come to your house and they say, "Let us rape your daughters," he's like, "No, go ahead, take them. I ain't gonna tell nobody." That's sodomite behavior, bro. That's what they do over there. But you claim you ain't with it. What are you doing, bro?
Look, and one more, just because because I also wanted, as a matter of record, when you were touching on the mass gassing of Chicago, before Kanye went broke, I wanted, as a matter of record, we laid out the blueprint of what he could have done with all that money before they took it from him. And we're not going to say who they was, but Kanye, what we were advocating for, what I would have advised him intelligently for, look, I agree with you, bro. Hitler's super duper cool, okay? I'm with you. I'm on your side, bro. Let's not go ahead and say that, because they will take all your money. And let's not discount all the good that money could do. Because if Kanye would have done what we advocated him to do, which was to establish his compound in Wyoming and basically make a self-sustained center where you are producing products and giving people a place to live, and self-sustained in food and economic, all of that. You could have funded that wholly and used your influence and your business connections to absolutely create a supply chain for a product that you could get directly to market and empower everybody there. And you know what? When you went to that woman and asked her if she wanted to not be a pillar of salt, you would have had somewhere for her and her children to go.
Right.
That $2, $3, $4 billion could have done a lot. Yeah, fuck it. Smile and tell these people what they want to fucking hear. But when you got that much money, you could really make something happen.
The
All
spook
of this
who
shit
sat by the door. The spook
Dude,
who sat by the door. That's all it takes.
all this shit that this dude did, and I get why he did it. Kanye is more honest than most, but at the end of the day, if we're being honest with himself, that shit really was about him and that shit that he was going through with his wife and his kids, and yeah, and so he just said fuck it and said yeah, he really was controlled and handled. Yeah, he really did have CIA people threatening to throw him in a fucking loony bin if he didn't say what they wanted him to say. Yeah, all of these celebrities are managed, and he's exposing that and da 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 da. But my brother, you could have done that from the compound.
Right.
You could have done that when the money was already intangible. And then when they send you that tax bill, say, I'm sorry, my brother. It's all already gone through a 501c3. It's paid for all of this compound. It's paid for all these people's new lives. It's got a factory started, and all that money is in an LLC. So you can sue me and bankrupt me, but all of this wealth is now untouchable.
Yeah, I'm with it. I'm with it. And I've been saying it. I think anybody who was on top of their game, anybody who was thinking about longevity, anybody who is trying to protect their peace and live in a way where they're not feeling like they're constantly under attack, I feel like they're going to end up at the same model that we have, which is why I don't think we ever really need to argue it. We don't need to talk about what other people are doing. I'm not going to waste any time talking down about what other people are doing, because I think the destination is going to be the same for anybody who sees themselves existing in a peaceful and abundant state in this world. You're going to have to get your own shit, because you can't trust these spaces anymore where people are all just slammed together according to economic position. Just because you make the same amount of money as me per year don't mean I should live next to you in the same building or next to you on the same block. That's silly. It's unsustainable, and we're seeing the truth of that right now. How many neighbors are killing each other? How many neighbors are? My homeboy, our libertarian friend, told us he lives in a homeowners association little space, and they have a group, a Facebook page for people who live in there, and they complain about their neighbors on the group Facebook page.
Yeah.
She told me that somebody took a picture of dog shit and posted it on the Facebook page to try to get somebody to own up to who didn't pick up their dog shit.
Yeah, they telling you white secrets, bro. That is some white people shit that absolutely happened.
Bro,
HOA
it's a cult.
HOAs are
It's a cult. It's a
It
badly
keeps the
organized
property
cult.
value up.
It's a badly organized cult. That's what it is. Can you imagine
Yeah.
the state of mind you got to be in your everyday life to see some dog shit and be so triggered you got to take a picture of it? You got a picture of dog shit on your phone now, and then
Bro,
you're
can
gonna
you
post it on
imagine?
Facebook.
Can you imagine somebody getting upset for having an oil stain on the floor after you almost died in a car accident?
Yeah,
It's-
I absolutely see
It's
that.
white people arrogance, white women arrogance. They do it.
What it is like, look, I've done what I'm supposed to do. I've moved to this neighborhood to not have to deal with this kind of shit, and there shouldn't be dog shit. And listen, I get it. I get it. If you busted your ass, you went to school for 40 years to fucking have a great career and make great money and live in a very affluent neighborhood. Yeah, when you see people who, I mean, look, I don't live in a affluent neighborhood, and when I see new people moving in who are fucking shit up, it irritates me. And I'm not rich or privileged by any means, but I still see people. I'm like, damn, bro, you really gonna do that? You really gonna do that shit here? You really gonna fuck it up for everybody? But it's because we're not living around people who share our values about community or respect or consideration or principle or purpose, right? Like you said, I make this much, you make that much, we're going to end up living next to each other. But that doesn't mean we have any bond beyond that, and it's a recipe for friction. Like, I would much rather live around people who share nothing in common with me socioeconomically, but have the same vision. Like, look, we're going to do this hemp plastics factory. We're going to take kids out of Chicago before they gas it under the tent. We're going to be able to save people from all of these hellholes that people like Maj Touré are protecting by this Stop Snitching campaign horseshit. We're going to be able to save their lives and live in a place where we grow our own food, we produce our own products that aren't as harmful, that aren't as exploitative. We're going to reimagine the relationships between people and economics and how we bring products to market and how we don't do it on the principles of planned obsolescence and just destroying the planet. We're going to be responsible, thoughtful citizens in the way that we engage with the rest of the world while we're on our neo-Amish shit. Fuck, that sounds absolutely awesome. We should absolutely get together to do that. That sounds like a much better situation for me than just fuck it, I fell into this money, let's live next to each other. Because eventually some bitch ain't gonna pick up dog shit. And you're gonna be upset about it, and there's gonna be problems. Because the reality is even though y'all are in the same tax bracket, you're not on the same wavelength in principles, and none of us really live in communities at this point where we're really making those decisions.
Right. Right. And we should be able to. Now, not only should we be able to, that should be top priority moving forward, because you have no right to be like, oh, this is a Republican neighborhood. What are you doing in here? You have no right. You have no right. You bought one piece of property. You knew this little neighborhood had 182 parcels. What reason would everybody who agree politically have to all choose to live in it? No, that's not how it works. Buy 40 acres, and then you get to decide. Then you get to decide how to organize your cult. I want to see how well it works. I want to see how well the all trans cult works.
Yeah.
I want to see it, because y'all out here pissed off. You talking about people that they're trying to deny my identity. They won't. If you have your own space where you're responsible for your own well-being, you creating content, you doing all the shit you want to do, you a TikTok influencer. Yeah, just get all of y'all together in one spot and see how well life goes. And that's not like some kind of sinister plan, like, oh, put them all together. I think everybody should. If you think your world would be better if you lived around only black people, prove it. Prove it. If you think your world would be better if you only lived around gay people, prove it. Because I'm willing to prove my principles. I'm willing to organize my society the way I want to organize my society, because I understand the principles that we standing on, Maj Toure. I understand it. I know what we're doing. And I think it stands up better than any model being presented currently, period. Because everything else is built on arbitrary shit. Hey, your skin happened to look close to the same color as mine. We should be friends.
Hey, we vote the same way.
Yeah, we should trust each other. Really? Really? You think a person who voted the same way as you won't fuck you over? And if they will, why does it matter who they voted for? Obviously, none of this shit that you're organizing yourself under means anything. It's all failure. Tribalism itself is failure. The culture is distortion. All this, it's only here to remind you of the other. Self implies other in a way. I get the metaphysical. I get all that. But you know what I'm talking about. Green face paint is basically just serves to say we not those motherfuckers with red face paint. That's what that means. And if that's not enough to organize your society on, in my opinion, that's not enough. And we're starting to see the backlash of that now. We're getting mixed in all these little groups, people doing dumb shit, and it's going to keep happening until you take it upon yourself, talk with your family, talk with your friends, pooling your resources for no matter what community it is. If you pool your resources together, you're probably going to do a little bit better than you're currently doing. And that's just a little bit. But when shit gets real, when y'all all live close to each other and this motherfucker's grass is too high and I don't like that's when it's going to get real. I don't like the color he painted his mailbox. Fuck that dude. Kick him out. Whatever it's going to be. Y'all make the rules. But I think you owe it to yourself. You owe it to your own peace of mind. The world that you think you want to live in, you don't just get to have that out in the atmosphere. You don't just get to say, oh, you know what? I don't like where the world's going. There's too many gays and trans and blacks. I don't like it. Well, guess what? This is where the world's going. You get to create your own community if you want. And exist solely in that. All you have to do is travel. If you set it up right, you won't even have to drive to work. Especially today with computers and phones and shit. Like, if you get enough people together and they all put their heads together, you can probably figure out a way to not leave that compound very often if you don't want to. But that takes a lot of responsibility. It takes a lot of accountability. It's going to take some uncertainty. You don't know how it's going to work quite yet. You're going to have to be willing to go back on your own compendium. When you wrote your compendium, did the instrument have an eraser or not? Are you willing to go back and take another look at it a year down the line of living with the people who you thought you wanted to live with and say, well, maybe we can, revisit this and kind of organize it a little bit differently. If you're not willing to do none of that, then guess what? You get to live in the cul-de-sac across the street from leftists. And now you got to deal with it. Or you get to live in the cul-de-sac across the street from ultra white right-wing people who look at you funny every time you leave your house. You deserve better. That's all I'm saying. You deserve better. You shouldn't have to go outside and purposely, oh, this motherfucker, this fucking guy, he voted for Trump. You shouldn't have to feel that. You owe yourself better. Why not pool your resources with the people you think you agree with, the people you think you resonate with, and take it to its outcome. And the outcome of that is purchase some land and organize your own community. At the very least, it should give you more peace of mind to empower yourself to make a wider change if you want to. You could be like, look at this experiment that I've been doing. I got a bunch of black gay people. We built a wall around ourselves, and I think we have found the perfect way to exist in humanity. Take a look at it. Let me show you. Let me walk you through. That's the best example you can ever give anybody. You going down to City Hall with signs and shit complaining about cis white males, not going to work. Not going to work. Not in the long term. If you just want to wrestle with those ideas, if you just want to be active and throw Molotov cocktails, that's a different thing. But if you really think you're going to influence that type of change, it doesn't belong to you that way. You just exist here. It's not yours. But if you buy a piece of property, it can be yours. And you can do whatever you want. And then you can prove to the rest of us what we're missing out on. Like, yo, we're all naked and we all bang each other's wives. You should come check it out. Probably not. But you guys have a good time. Just wash your hands.
Yeah, well, and don't work in food service.
Right.
And you know, if you find happiness or fulfillment or enlightenment, like there's a lot of moving parts to this, and we're in a very convenient space where, like that's kind of where Black Twitter exists. It exists in this convenient space where there's no real call to do anything purposely for real.
Yeah.
Like all of the rhetoric is said, like all the rhetoric is centered on this shit is beyond redemption. There's no point in trying. It's not good. Like that's the perspective where everything is coming from. But there's never the next step of, okay, well, let's build our own shit. It's just hyping up people to be mad about the same shit that people have been mad about forever. As long as we've been alive, as long as they've been following politics in this country, like people have been mad about this shit and talking about that shit forever. And a lot of people have gotten rich and become famous having careers talking about this shit. But nobody has actually substantively changed anything. And the tragedy that we saw with Kanye West is this was a dude that had the financial empowerment to actually make something happen.
And
squandered it just to say that he loved Hitler. Hilarious. I support it. I love it for the sake of free speech, but it shows that we're not really serious. We're not really serious about our resources and our plan, and we're not really serious about our rhetoric. We're not really serious about our rhetoric. We talk all this wild shit about how this is fucked up and that's fucked up, and going into, like AIU says, in the time machine to recount all of the fucked up shit, but none of that fundamentally changes the productivity of any pragmatic decisions made now. It has no bearing on it. There's shit that works, that will get you money, that will solve problems, that will make the community better, and there's shit that doesn't work, that will only perpetuate the problems, that will only exacerbate them and make it worse. And we know what they are. Snitching will help, protecting murderers will not. There's nothing else to talk about. And I will say this too, we would definitely love to enlist the help. If you listen to this podcast, if you get something from it, and maybe you're like, look, you dudes don't got it together, but I've been having these same ideas myself. And I see it's kind of in a very dark scanner, hard to kind of see type shit, but I see where you guys are going with it. And I believe in the work. I would love to come on and debate you and tweak it and da-da-da-da-da. Cool, perfect. Help promote this shit. Help promote it. Go. The Twitter things are in the link. That's just the way that it works. You could have the most profound idea, but if there's not 10 million people behind it, then it just go. That's how people are responding to shit. If it doesn't have all that shit behind it and the bells and whistles, people don't come. But you know it's the truth, and it's not your truth or my truth, right? It's not your problem or my problem. If you've come to that point of enlightenment and understanding, you know the problem within yourself is the problem that's without to all. Like this is, and if you've taken up that responsibility to move in that direction and start investing your time, your energy, and your resources, send us some money. Send us some money to help us do it. Recommend some shit. Subscribe. Tell your friends to subscribe. Get involved. Get on here and talk. Enlighten us about some shit that we don't know. You know, get at Mash Teray. Love to have Matt come stand on your square and defend what you said. Defend your block. Defend your delete. Defend it. Defend it. Make it make sense. Make it make sense. You've heard our guests. We've always been super respectful to anybody that's come on, no matter what the fuck they've had to say. always, 1,000%. But you know, get at that dude. All right, come on, go on the podcast of the Cult of the Dangerous Gentleman and say all that same shit you were saying on Twitter and make it make sense. Fuck who's got all the followers. Fuck who's more popular. Fuck who's got more money. We're in the realm of ideas. Defend your idea.
Right. And for the cynics, prove us wrong. If you're a cynic and you don't believe it, you should give even more money to give us an opportunity to trip ourselves up. The people who believe in it, yeah, that's dope. That's great help. But people who are like, these motherfuckers ain't gonna do nothing. Yeah, well, you give double and prove us wrong. The truth is, so far, wealth has been too attractive. Nobody wants to admit it. Everybody wants to blame it on whiteness or stupidity or whatever it else. White supremacy is why Kanye, all this bullshit. The truth is too attractive. It's too much fun. D.L. Hughley said it. When I was poor, I wanted to vote one way. When my tax bracket changed, my voting changed. Yeah, these
principles change.
My principles change. Maybe these kids don't need a breakfast program. Now that I can afford to actually make it happen, maybe they don't need one.
And it would hurt me so little
to
make it happen.
But what am I want to take this trip to Miami, though. It's too much fun.
Dude, and there's literally nothing that would substantively change about his lifestyle to fund that program. There's not a car, an exotic car that he was going to have that he wasn't going to have at the other end of that tax raise, right? There wasn't a house he was going to move into that now he's not. You know what I mean? As far as your lifestyle, you have a little less money.
I'll do you one better. How about it probably would have brought more money in? Hearts and minds. Right? The government knows that. They don't just show you drone bombing children in another country. They show you people cheering for their liberation. They show you a soldier rescuing a puppy from a pipe or some shit like that. Hearts and minds. They understand that. Even if you do it for selfish reasons, do dope shit for selfish reasons. Just like we complain about, oh, this guy goes out and feeds homeless people, but he puts it on camera and gets 1 million views. So what? Then he can feed more homeless people, you goofball. Why wouldn't we monetize and incentivize being dope humans? You're supposed to do that quiet and leave WorldStar to get all the money from people fighting and shooting each other. Again, backward shit. Incentivize being a dope human instead of always talking shit about how they did it. Or if D.L. Hughley would have started a breakfast program for those children. I used to want to do this when I was little. I wish there was a breakfast program for me. And now that I'm popping, guess what? Breakfast program. How does that not become beneficial for you? At the very least, you got to feel better, right? Like, I mean, at the very least.
And that's a dope way to do it. If you're saying, hey, well, fuck the government's going to waste it. I don't want to fucking waste my money and my tax dollars to do it. But then if you went and organized it and raised the money and put a little bit of your own to do it charitably, right? Yeah. In the free market by like a charity or something, you know, a church or a synagogue or a mosque or whatever. However, you got to get that tax-free money to make it happen. The Black Panthers did it. The Black Panthers had free lunch, free school, right? Free breakfast, free education.
And it's infinitely easier now than it was for them. Infinitely easier. It ain't like you ain't smart. I bet you got your money protected, right? You know where to put your money and how to set up your businesses, your LLC and all that, so you don't get played. You can do the same thing here. 508c13, religious exemption. You can do the same thing. You can hire a black accountant, right? He can figure it out for you, unless he fucks you over. Hey, listen. You don't trust the other ones, right? You can't. No, but you don't trust the other ones.
But it even makes it worse when you break it down like that because I just thought of something. So it's not, I didn't want to vote to do differently. I just stopped giving a fuck about it altogether.
Right.
So it's like I voted for it when I needed it. Now that I don't need it, I'm not going to vote for it, but I'm not even going to do anything outside of voting to make it happen. I just literally don't give a fuck about it because it doesn't affect me.
Fuck you. Like, hooray for me. And I'm not saying that this is
the original
black.
sin.
The original sin. I'm not saying this is black. I'm saying it's all of us.
Universal, for sure.
All of us. It's everybody. Complicitous. It's all of us. We don't want to admit it.
Yes, all of us.
We want to point the finger at the other groups. Yeah, but the billionaires could. Oh, but you got how many black millionaires do you think are in the NBA? Just the NBA alone. And then let's go to the NFL. and all these other places. There's a lot of people with a whole lot of money. They'll show you. They're not embarrassed to show you a football player go to a strip club with a trash bag with $40,000 in it and throw it at sex workers. Nothing wrong with sex workers, but that's 40 grand for one night of partying. They'll show you that because they know that's not gonna bring their stock down at all. Black folks are gonna identify with that. High five. He was wearing some $500 sneakers. He threw 40 grand in the strip club. He poured a bunch of champagne on bitches. I love him. But to even gear your mind to take that same $40,000 and make it work in a way that has reciprocating benefit to you and other people around you, that's stupid.
It's corny.
Yeah, it's corny.
Lame
Who's gonna
shit.
get points off that? Yeah, that's
King Von wouldn't have done that.
Right. That's lame shit. It doesn't make any sense. But you can definitely look at Elon Musk could have fixed. Shut the fuck up, bro. Just be quiet. Just be quiet, because there's a lot of shit you could have fixed too. If you want to scale it down, I know billions of dollars is a lot of money, but you could still scale it in a way that if Elon could have fixed this for 100 million and he got 6 billion, that means you got 12 million. You could have fixed some 50, 60, $100,000 problems.
You know what? Elon Musk could have fixed it, but you know what? He had the cultural sensitivity and presence of mind to not try to be a white savior.
Wow, that works.
Good for him.
Damn. So, shit. Figure out how to fuck yourself over at every turn. But what if I want to help? White savior. Damn. Okay. Well, I'll just leave it to you guys then. White supremacy. You hate us.
Can't do it. God can't win. The devil has rigged the game. There's nothing that God can do.
All you can do is raise your hands and be like, fuck it, bro. I'm just going to go buy another car. Fuck it. What do you want me to do? I'm going to go to Vegas.
I got a trash bag full of ones.
You know what I'm saying? And I understand when you're facing something that seems insurmountable, right? So as one NFL player, you could look at the real problem and you could get real people to give you real numbers. Yeah, son, it's going to cost you $150 million to feed the homeless in this city alone for 1 year. And you'd be like, shit, I can't do that. You feel crippled. There's nothing you can do. But you can call your homies to go to the strip club though, right? Why can't you call your homies for this?
Yep, call them for that. And not only that, it starts with us, the people, the nobodies, the followers, not the following, but the followers.
Right.
Because when you get enough people who can lay the bullshit aside, well, you're a black Israelite, you're a Black Guns Matter dude, you're a MAGA dude, all of these boxes that keeps everybody separate, keeps their interests, their money separate, their purpose separate. You could be from any of those backgrounds, but you say, you know what? We've identified the issues. We've identified the structure of the game. We see that it's rigged against us. And we do want some of these dudes that have a lot more power and influence to start putting their money up. Show them that they're not throwing their money in an empty hole, that nothing's going to happen. Because regular people like me and you, and I've been saying this for a fucking decade, $10 a month. You get 3 million people. That's it. That's a fucking drop in the bucket.
Right. $10.
In term, $10 a month. That translates into what? 30 million a month.
Right.
It's all tax free, and you start saying, look, I'm from this perspective, I'm from that perspective, but this think tank, this purposeful movement, this thing that's actually identified all of the pitfalls and says, look, we're going to put shit to work and actually start solving problems. I believe in this. $10 doesn't break me. I can do that. You start putting that money up amongst ourselves to actually start getting the ball rolling, then it's a lot harder for somebody like a Jay-Z to be like, nah, I'm not putting my money up. Like, okay, cool. Now we know you don't give a fuck. Because there is an argument to be made to go to these dudes and just say, look, you know, sacrifice your grandchildren's potential comfort to go out on this whim, and maybe it doesn't even work out, right? But if you already get the infrastructure up person to person, you got a lot more leverage to hold these people accountable. Look, we already got the ball rolling. We've been putting $10 a month. That ain't shit for you. You could put up 10 million and make it happen.
It's easy. It should be easy. It seems simple because there's too many people out here with too much resources blowing it on goofy shit. And that's not me saying I think they should be putting their money towards what I think they should be putting their money towards. I'm talking about if this narrative is true, If what you're saying is true, people, the system is against us, the billionaires don't care. Like, if that's really the true narrative, then how accountable are you holding the people from your own in group, right? Because it's all black and white and everything else. How accountable are you holding your millionaires? Your people who you idolize, the people who you're giving money to, who's telling you all this shit on Instagram and all this other stuff. They're getting money. And let's bring it to the sex workers too, right? Your black OnlyFans girls is making hundreds of thousands of dollars, right? What are they solving? What are they doing other than getting ass shots and BBLs? Are they doing it? Are we holding them accountable too? They taking money from the community. Why aren't they giving it back? You got all of these expectations from people outside of your community to come in and do these things while you call them a white supremacist, while you call them a white savior, while you call them colonizers,
chalk demon, moon
chalk
cricket,
demon, colonizer,
male
all
monkeys,
of that shit. You're talking all that shit, and they're supposed to just keep their head down and fix the water and stop the killing and doing all this shit while you saying protect the snitches. So basically, you're setting yourself on fire while blaming the firemen that they ain't putting it out fast enough. And you get to play both sides of the fence. That's what's happening. We get to, okay, I got you. Well, I personally think that it must be really attractive up there. It must be really nice up there when you get that amount of money and you just can't hear the noise anymore. It just don't make no sense. It don't make no sense. You're fine. Your feet are kicked up. You got a nice apartment. You got a big old TV. You can get any food you want. You can get all the sex you desire. And now, I mean, is hunger really that much of a problem? I mean, I know it was when I was hungry. But now that my belly's full and I got gout from drinking wine and eating pork, I don't think hunger's that much of a problem, really. That seems to be the human response to getting rich, with the exception of a few people. You know what I'm saying? Of course, there's people who are doing their absolute best to make the world a better place and all that. And I get that. That's beautiful. That's what I think more people should aspire to, especially the ones who are complaining. Take it upon yourself. There's steps that you can take, even if those steps start with holding black wealth accountable. Because they do a lot of finger pointing out to other people. Dr. Umar been collecting donations for a long time. Why did Dr. Umar say he don't have a school right now? What was his? I ain't gonna say excuse. I'm gonna be nice. What was his reasoning for his explanation for not having a school right now?
Maybe I'm a racist, but I believe him.
No, well, fill us in. What exactly did he say? I don't want it to come from me.
Well, he stated that basically the 3 years that he was paying black contractors, because he wanted to keep the money in the community, right. He hired black contractors who basically milked the job for 3 years, and as soon as he got it to white contractors, they completed the whole thing in 3 months. That's his story. And
so does he have a legitimately open and running school right now?
That I do not know, but I've always said that the way that these kind of organizations should be ran is the book should be completely open. What everybody got paid, what every dollar goes to. I don't know of any organization that's giving that kind of public accountability to their donors and to their movements. And maybe you could disagree with it, and you can certainly voice your opinion, but here it is. I don't know of any organization that's doing it that way, but that is absolutely what I would prescribe as the Jewish lawyer.
Listen, Dr. Umar still don't have no school. He still doesn't have a functional school. But you know what he does have?
Donations. Gifts. More gifts.
That's what he has.
Jesus.
That's what he has.
I'm done. I'm fucking done, man.
And this guy's sitting on the Breakfast Club. If I was on the Breakfast Club, when you came in, I would play this clip for 5 minutes while you were on your way up on the elevator. There's nothing else to talk about until we get past this. I don't want to talk about the white man no more. I don't want to talk about interracial marriage no more. Where's the school, B? And if you just living off the money, let's just say that. People just like me and they give me money. I don't even want to build a school no more. I'm chilling. Say that. but you've been fronting all this time. You've been fronting all this time. There's somebody else out there who's built the school. At the time that you've been talking, there are other people who quietly created the schools in their community that they wanted. It's been done. I guarantee you, in the past 5 years, Dr. Umar been receiving gifts, donations, and gifts. Somebody's built the school. Why were they able to accomplish that and he's not? But he going to Red Lobster. Hey, have fun, have a great time. Enjoy yourself. Just wash your hands. That's my new favorite motto. Do what you got to do out here. But if you play in both sides, you have to expect somebody at some time to call you on it. You're publicly playing both sides. Somebody gonna call you on it. I don't really care. I know what's happening right here. It's humans being humans. I don't expect anything more from anybody who's doing it. But if you're gonna do it publicly and you're gonna play both sides, just expect to get called on it. That's all I'm saying. Other than that, enjoy yourself.
Yeah.
Get them gifts and donations. I want some. Send some over here. I'll take them. I probably won't be sitting in my car fanning them out like money and shit in the strip club. But, I got some different plans. But, prove it. It must be difficult. When that money start coming in, character change. Things are revealed. People's alignments shift. That's just what takes place. If not, prove me wrong. Show me somebody who went from zero to making 10 grand a month and stuck to the plan, stuck to the script. Show me those people. I want to celebrate. But most of them ended up just being brother polite. That just seems to be what happens. If we claiming we not susceptible to it as they are, let's get to this accountability shit, bro. Start calling up your local. Don't call your local congressman. Call the basketball players from your favorite team. What you calling the congressman for? You paying these guys to play with a ball. You know what I'm saying? I say call them. I say stop calling congressmen. Start calling athletes. Hashtag start calling athletes. Get their info. Send letters to their offices, their handlers or whoever, and be like, yo, what up, son? You've been playing ball long enough. Let's get to it. Just a suggestion. You never know. But either way,
it's the Lord's work.
It is. It really is. It's the greatest think tank ever assembled. I stand by that. I stand on the model that we pushing. If you know a better model than the cult model, please be my guest. Come to the show. Say what you got to say. We'll treat you with respect while we destroy all your premises. I mean, that's the only foreseeable future I see in this. But don't let that scare you. Come on in. Come holler at us. We here.
And allow yourself to be, lovingly admonished. Broaden your horizons.
Right.
We come on the show, Madge. Defend the preservation of snitching. Yeah. So maybe there's benefits to the black community that we just missed. Sell us on it. We're open-minded. I'll never block you. Come say whatever the fuck you want. You are unblockable, sir. Yeah. There's absolutely no reason to do it. It's just a thought. It's just an idea. If it undermines my idea, well, maybe my idea needs to be adjusted. I'm open to that. If I'm incorrect, correct me. You correct a wise man and he loves you. You correct a fool, he fucking hates you.
And blocks you on Black Twitter.
And delete your thread where black people are agreeing with Yakub. Evidence of and not to be too arrogant, but if AIU is listening, get at us about a South Africa discussion. We'd love to talk to you about South Africa.
Yes, I would love to have that discussion. I'd love to get some insights from a person who is from there. This is multi-generational, his family, so all of that. I'd love to talk to him about it. So if you're listening, holla at us and come back on the show. I think that's a great discussion waiting to happen.
Yep, and send us some money and send that brother some money too. Support the work of people defending free speech and trying to get humanity to wake the fuck up and do the right thing. Because we got about 6,000 years of recorded history where we've just missed the mark. I think at this point we've got enough historical data that we could start making better decisions as a species.
Absolutely. This is the way.
This is the way. Complicitous. Dola.
Absolutely, man. I appreciate y'all making time tonight. This was everything I hoped it would be. And I'm going to tag Maj Toure Hopefully he'll come talk to us, or he'll just read that thread and understand how wrong he was, and he'll just back away slowly and ignore us and pretend it never happened. So,
And send him a link to that video with the white girl showing pussy shots on the truck too.
Yeah, yeah.
Just in case.
I would just
back
post it on
away.
Twitter
This is
and
why we
tag
need
him.
to snitch.
Yeah, back away. Snitches are needed. Let's give it back. Give it all back.
And one last thing, the holder of Blackness Doobie did have to go, but he did communicate to me as the official attorney of the Cult of Dangerous Gentlemen that Maj Touré's blackness has been revoked. He has incurred $10,000 in infraction and backdo black leader charges. And if he wants to restore his green tier level of blackness, he will need to make a $10,000 donation to Doobie Hauser's 501c3. The holder of blackness has spoken. It has been proclaimed. It is so. It is irrevocable.
Dola. See you soon, Maj. All right, brother. I'll talk to you soon, man. Enjoy the rest of the night.
Always a pleasure, brother. Peace.
Peace.
Metaphysics is going to have to be the quote-unquote religion of tomorrow. If it isn't, you're fucked. Totally and absolutely. Religion of tomorrow.